Morning. Having some feed mill issues here. Last night it did this twice and now I showed up this morning and it's the same thing. The mixer keeps overloading the motor and popping the belt off at the same time. So I don't know if there's something stuck in the mixer or what. I'm not sure what's going on because I'm kind of confused why it would overload and the belt would be off. Of course it won't happen now that we're standing here and watching it though. Feed's not flowing. That's better. This is how farmers end up with no shields on anything. Well, it seems to want to work now. I don't know what's up with that, but the pigs have had their breakfast, so I'm gonna go have mine.
You stuck up there where?
Where?
Right here.
Oh, what are you doing here? You're...
I'm trying to get it. He's been up there for like 2 hours.
Jeez, are you gonna be able to get down from there?
Yeah.
Maybe next time you should just come and get me. You're gonna be able to get down here.
Should I drop it?
Yep. Oh, God.
Wait, are you happy to be on it?
Now? You gonna be a firefighter now? Saving cats from trees? Have fun at school.
Bye.
See ya.
Hello?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good.
Hopefully I get 3 more loads done today. I'm gonna put 1 more in the silo and then Ben's gonna go up there and look at it.
Okay, well, I'll do chores and do that appointment and keep working on the stairs then.
Sounds like a plan.
So yeah, We ran out of corn at one of the finishing barns, so Dad's picking up some corn we have in storage and bringing it there. So I'm gonna do the chores this morning. It's pretty slow right now because the part of the batch we're at, there's no farrowing, no breeding, no weaning, nothing like that going on. So it's just regular chores in the morning, just feeding and checking over the pigs basically. And after that, I'm gonna work on some steps I'm building in the old barn to get to the old upstairs. I'll show you what we're doing there later. But for now, we're just doing regular morning chores. These pigs are getting pretty big, so they're going through a pile of feed right now. That bin's empty already, so I'm gonna switch it over to the other bin. I filled that bin up on Saturday, I think, and it's Tuesday now. So that's 8 ton in a couple days. So I'm just opening the slides on this bin here and closing the ones on that bin so that it takes the feed out of this bin instead. There's only feed up to the top of the cone in this bin, so it's probably gonna run empty and then I'll have to make some more feed for here. These pigs are leaving on Friday. They're big enough, they're ready to go to a finishing barn, so it's Tuesday now, so we just need feed for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 more days worth. I just gotta make a little bit more just to finish out the group. I don't know if you can see it on the video, but that pig's limping a bit on his back right leg, so I'm gonna needle him. We put a big blue mark on the ones we needle so that when we come back tomorrow, we know we already needled it. We can see if it's improving or not improving. And also we know it's being treated, so we know not to ship it for meat because it has to meet a minimum withdrawal period before you can ship it for meat so that there isn't antibiotics in the meat. So that's why we'll mark it. We'll write down on a sheet that we needled one in this pen. That's how we keep track of who we've needled and who we haven't. well, that's it for that barn. So this group did pretty well. In a Weaner barn, you normally target like 2% mortality for the group. And this group's at 2.1%. And they're, like I said, they're gonna leave on Friday. So that's pretty good. No complaints there. They're really healthy looking pigs. They're growing super fast. When we move them to the finishing barn, we'll get them weighed on a truck scale. And then we'll have a good idea of what their average daily gain was and their feed conversion, because all the feed is weighed at the mill and the pigs will be weighed on their way out, so we can figure out how many kilos of feed it takes per kilo of gain. And then we can figure out the feed cost per kilo of gain. So we'll do, it's called a closeout, where we'll see how the whole group did and we compare each group. But I think this group will be pretty good because, like I said, the mortality's low and they look really big. So I think it'll be a good closeout. Janet's doing chores at the other barn, so let's see how she's making out. So in this barn, they're 4 weeks younger than that barn. So they were weaned 3 weeks ago, so they're quite a bit smaller. This group's been a bit more of a struggle, but they had some scours off the start, so we had to medicate them for that. But it seemed to clear it up, and it seemed to have cleared up by now, so hopefully we're off to the races. But they're a bit behind where the other group was at this point for sure. Good, how are they looking? Yeah?
Far so good.
Cool.
Put all the drinkers up like an inch or
Okay. So these guys just got vaccinated yesterday. So they're all a little bit dopey, so that doesn't help either. Lots of times the day after vaccinating, they won't eat quite as well. So they were kind of challenged with the scours already. And then the vaccine kind of adds on to it, but I still think we're heading in the right direction. So scours means like diarrhea. So if you came in here a week ago before we medicated for it, there was just loose manure all over the floor. So we put something called neomycin through the water, and that cleared it up really quick actually. So if they're scouring like that and the manure is really wet, then the feed they're eating isn't being used very efficiently and they won't grow very well. They just kind of get skinnier instead of getting bigger. So they're definitely not scouring anymore. They're looking more full and more, hopefully they'll look more perky tomorrow after the vaccine effects wear off. So well, that's it at the Weaner barns. Now we'll go to the sow barn. Sow barn's mostly just a walkthrough to the hired guys are doing chores there, and it's the slow part of the batch, like I said, so it's pretty darn slow. So I'll just walk through there and see what's going on. I'm looking for 2 ton of dry sow premix and 2 ton of finisher premix in bin 2. So these guys are getting to the point too where they're almost ready to wean. We're gonna be weaning on Monday, so 6 days from now. So the barn I was in with the bigger weaners, they'll be leaving on Friday. Then we'll get that barn all washed and cleaned up, disinfected and everything. And then all the piglets from this batch will go and fill that whole barn at once. And then next week, we'll take all these sows out, wash and disinfect these crates real good, and bring the next group of sows in that'll start farrowing. I always feel kind of awkward waving the camera around when the guys are working, so not much footage in there today. Can go get that mill going again to make feed for the bigger weaner pigs. So we were hooked up to this top pipe here, which sends it to the bins for the south barn. But we want to go back underground to the north barn, so I put it on the bottom one. Then we got to switch it over there to send it to the right bin. Well, over the past couple months, I've been getting a sore elbow, and apparently it's tennis elbow. So I got to go see a physiotherapist about it. Apparently I've been playing too much tennis. Well, it turned into a pretty nice day out here. I'll show you what I'm working on. So there's an old part of the barn here that we don't use anymore. These used to be dry sow pens that we used when we had sows in the old part of the barn here. I haven't used it since 2016 basically. So it's basically been sitting here empty. So we cut a hole in this part in the ceiling, and I'm making stairs that are gonna go up into the upper level of the old bank barn. And up here we got a basketball court and a floor hockey area for the kids. We had this up here when I was a kid to play basketball up here, but we took the floor out to use the floor for cement forms when we built a barn back in '98, and it hasn't had a floor up here since. So we've been working on putting the floor back up here. So we got that done for a couple sections, but right now the kids have to walk all the way around the barn, behind the barn where it's real muddy, and climb up an old ladder to get up here. So we thought it'd be a lot easier to make stairs through the old part of the barn there. So that's the idea. We want to get lights up here too and make it a kind of a giant rec room. So that's the project. So I got started on this last week. I bought some lumber, and I'm making the stringers in the shop and cutting all the boards for the steps, and then we'll bring everything over there and put it together. Well, now we kind of got a straight shot at it anyway. I goofed up somewhere measuring this stringer because it's off a bit, but I got to keep reminding myself this is just an old pig barn. I wouldn't want it in my house, but I think it'll work to get kids up and down the stairs. Well, what do you think? Not bad for a farmer, eh? Not really sure what happened to this one, but there's a bigger gap every time on this one than there is on the other three. That's gonna drive me nuts for about the next 50 years, I think. Every time I walk up here, but whatever. It'll get the kids upstairs, so. I should probably make a railing around this giant hole here before a kid falls in that. I think it's gonna be a bit of a never-ending job up here. We still got a bunch more floor to put in, put the lights up. We'll see where this takes us. Thanks for watching.